All right, in this video we're going to get a little bit closer to how we're going to eventually start making these physics programs. I'm going to go back to the cylinder volume calculator that we made earlier. It looks a little different here, but it's the same thing. You'll remember if I went into the script editor, I had a program. It was function cylinder, and I had two parameters, radius and height. So it's going to take two arguments from our spreadsheet. It's going to do a calculation here and put the calculation in the volume, and it's going to return volume to the spreadsheet. So all I had to do is come down in here, and I had to do equals cylinder. I can call my function here and put in two arguments. F6 was this box right here, radius, and F9 is the height. And so it'll go to the function, calculate it, and then return the value to wherever I put this function. So I could put in a number here, 2, hit return, and it starts to calculate the volume right away. I could put in a height and hit return, and it calculates the volume. And that's cool, and that's really good, and sometimes, you know, in your life you might want to do it that way. Well, what we want to do eventually, though, is not actually put the function right here on this page. We really don't want anything on this spreadsheet except for a couple places for a user to enter some stuff, and then you know, all the output kind of things like this. But we want to actually put all in our function how to pull data from this spreadsheet into the function and then send it back to this thing without putting the function somewhere on this sheet. So that's what we're going to try to learn in this video. Before we do that, though, I think I might just show you another little trick here. So I haven't really showed you how to make this kind of output thing, like a GUI thing. You know, that's, you know, you highlight some cell, you know, you just highlight some cells like this, and you can come up to the border and you can put a border around the whole thing, and you could go like this, and you could hit right here is the merge things, and then I could put a border around that part, and then I can do, you know, colors, you know, fill colors, all kinds of things. And then I can do in certain things, I can enter boxes. And so there's a lot of stuff you can do with all that to make your nice kind of pretty interface. I'll just let you kind of learn how to do that on your own with all the things up here. But one thing that we generally want to do is we want to put like some kind of image in here. So I want to show you something a little bit about that. So earlier when we did this program, I had a little image of a cylinder here. So I'm going to show you how I got that and how we put that in. So usually I go to Google Images, or just go into Google, type into Google, you know, Google Images, and there's videos, news, there's images. And so I'll be on this page, and I'll type in, like, I want a cylinder image or something. And there's a whole bunch of images here, and I believe this is the one I used last time. So I can just grab that and kind of pull it down here and just drag it onto my desktop, and there it is. You'll notice though when I drag that, see how it has a kind of a white background. It's not transparent background. You can sometimes just type in transparent cylinder PNG or something like that, and you could go ahead and already be that way. But if I like this one and it has some white background, so I just want to show you how to get rid of that. So I can click that on the Mac. I can double click that, and that opens it up in preview. And if I hit the tools, there's this little magic wand right here. If you click the magic wand and you come down here in this background and you just kind of start dragging it across, you'll see that it kind of selects all the background stuff. And then all you have to do, it highlights all that. All you have to do is hit delete, and you'll see that it takes that all away. Then go up and just go File, Save, and now this file over here on my desktop won't have that background. So that's just a quick way to get rid of a background. It's a nice little tool, and I just thought I'd show you that little extra thing there. So let's go back to the spreadsheet. Let's come in here, and we'll go Insert an image. And I can drag that image in there, and there it is. And I can kind of resize it and you know, put it in there, something like that. So now I got a little cylinder on the thing. It just kind of makes your output a little bit better. Okay. All right, back to the subject at hand. Okay, so how are we going to redo program, because all of our functions are going to be like this. We're going to actually pull the data from here, do some math on it basically, and then return it back to this thing. We don't want the function right here on this particular thing. Okay, so what we want to do is we kind of want to remember we need F6 and we need F9. Those are the cells where we want to get some data, and then F12 is where we're going to put some data back in eventually. So we just need to know, where those cells are so that we can refer to them. All right, so I'm going to go back to my function, and so I have a function cylinder, and I know we learned a lot of cool stuff about arguments and parameters, but we don't actually need those anymore, because we're going to just directly refer to find out where they are instead of passing them into this function. We're going to go actually get them. So the first thing I want to do is there are some built-in objects that we want to access, and that have to do with this spreadsheet app. So I'm going to make a variable called sheet. I need to reference the sheet that all this is working on. And if you come back here, see there can be multiple sheets. There can be a whole bunch of tabs here in this spreadsheet. This is a spreadsheet. It's using Google Spreadsheet app, and it can have multiple sheets within the one spreadsheet. So I need to get all the way down and refer to this sheet within this spreadsheet, parameter spreadsheet, within the spreadsheet app. And then eventually I need to get all the way down to a range and then get the value that's in that range. So there's some ways that I can call this. So I'm going to do a variable called sheet equals, and the first thing I need to do is type in spreadsheet app. Spreadsheet app, and then I can do dot. Okay, and then it shows me a whole bunch of things that I can choose here. Now, so just so you know, let's see. I'll come up here, and so Google has what's called a spreadsheet app, and that's the only thing we're using. I mean, we're going to do all of our programs in spreadsheet app. But you can do Google Script in a lot of the other Google products too. So there's document app is what it's called, and that's for the Google Docs. There's actually also a form app, and so you can reference these things when you're trying to find something. You can reference them in whatever kind of program, a Google program you're working. We're working in Google Spreadsheet apps, so this is what we start with: spreadsheet app dot. And so if I do that, then I can look at some things. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that I can do. But I want to come down here and see this one right here. Get active spreadsheet. That means, get the spreadsheet that is currently open. Okay. Now you could have several spreadsheets open. Here's the spreadsheet that we have open, parameters. But I could have other spreadsheets open in other tabs. And if I clicked on the other tab, that would be the active spreadsheet. But we don't really have to worry about that because we're always going to have, one active spreadsheet that's open. So I have get active spreadsheet. Okay, and then I'll do another dot. And what do I want now? Well, I want the sheet that is on that active spreadsheet. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to, there's a couple options here actually. And it'd be good to talk about both of them right now. Let's see. Let's go all the way down to get sheet by name. So I could click that, and then I could come back here and what was the name of this sheet. So down here I can name different tabs, different sheets. This is called sheet 1. So if I want to do it this way, I could do dot. Or not dot, quote. Yeah, this has to be a text. So dot sheet 1. I can put the actual title name in there. And then I could do a semicolon, and that would then be the sheet. That variable would be the sheet that we're referring to. This might come in handy later. We might do get sheet by name. But right now, since we only have one sheet and it's active, which is normally what we're going to have, I could just do dot dot get active sheet, and that'll be enough. If I'm just going to have one sheet that's open right here, then that'll be enough. Just get the active sheet. But we could do get sheet by name, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so there is referring to the sheet. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to get some variables that normally we passed in the radius and the height. But how do I get the radius and the height from this sheet? Well, this is what I need is to refer to the range. So this, remember, the radius is on F6, and we'll just do that first. The radius is on F6. So what I want to do is I want to do on the sheet variable, I do sheet, which is, see, the variable I just set up to reference the sheet. Now I do sheet dot get, what do I need? I need get, I think there's get range. Yeah, get range. Probably this one. Get range, and then what was it? It was F. Get range F6. I better check it. Yeah, F6. So instead of passing them in through here, I can do it this way. Now I actually need to set up a variable here. So var radius equals sheet dot get range F6. Okay, now that's getting the range. Now this is a tricky part here. At least I felt it was tricky when I first learned it. So I could have done all this all in one line. I could have done SpreadsheetApp.getActiveSpreadsheet.getActiveSheet.getRange F6, and that would have given me the range. Now, but what that does though is it just gives me the range. It gives me F6. It doesn't actually tell me what the value is in that range. So that's important, because you might think it would. And then I said get F6, that it's going to tell me that it's a 2. Well, no, it doesn't. It just says get this range. Now you have to say get the value in that. So, so normally what I do here is I just set up a parameter of sheet, and I just get all the way to the sheet. And then on that sheet, I call the various ranges, or I set the various ranges. So var radius is going to be sheet.getRange F6 dot get, what do we need? We need get the value that's in it. Is that somewhere? There we go. Get, oh, there's value or values. It could be multiple things if we have a range that's a bigger range. But we only have one range, one cell here. So I'm going to get value. Okay, and so now this radius variable will be equal to a 2. Okay, so the radius will be equal to a 2. So instead of passing the radius in through parameters here, I actually went and got it. So I set up a sheet variable, and then on that sheet variable, I get a range and get the value in that range. So there's radius. So now what I can do is I can just copy this line of code, and I can do var height sheet.getRange. Where's the height? The height is on F9. So I can do F9, and I can do .get value. See, that's why I did this whole part in the sheet. So now I can do the sheet in whatever data I'm trying to get. I can just do sheet. I don't have to put this whole line in each of these things. So I've saved a little bit of code there. Okay, so now I have a radius variable and I have a height variable that are in this function, like when I passed them in up here. And so now I can create the volume by using radius there and the height right there. And there's the volume. Okay, so now what do? Well, normally I returned the volume to where the function was being called, but we're not doing that anymore, right? We're going to actually, if I go back here, it would return the value to this thing right here. Because see, I had this code in here. I don't want to have anything in here, so I'm going to delete this whole thing. But I still want to be able to put the volume right in this box. So how do I do that? Okay, so instead of return volume, I'm going to use sheet. I don't have to set up a variable here because I'm just sending it back to that particular cell. I'm going to do sheet dot get range And where is it that I want to get the range from? I want to do right here, F12. So I'm going to do F12. Okay, so that got the range on the sheet. And what am I going to do this time? Well, I'm going to set value. So there's value or value. So I'm going to set value. And what am I going to set value? What am I going to set? What value am I going to set to range F12? I'm going to set volume, because there's my variable, volume. And I'm going to set the value of volume in the range F12 on the sheet that's on the active spreadsheet that's on the spreadsheet app. Okay, so that will go all the way. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save that. Okay, and so if I'm on here, if I'm on this page, how do I get it to work? I mean, it won't work. I can't, there's nothing I can do. I can change these variables and return, but I mean, it's not going to do a volume and get it sent here. So there's a way we could do it right now. We could actually come up here on the code sheet. I could come up here and select function, and I could click the cylinder function. Okay, and I could actually click run. And so it's going to run it. And if I go and I look back at my page, whoop, authors, oh yeah, okay. So the first time you do this, authorization required, parameters need your permission to access your data on Google. You can review permissions, and you can sign in with your account. This is only the first time you're doing this. You have to make this happen. Yes, we're going to do all that. Don't worry about that. That's all good. You're just giving your life to Google. Don't worry about it. Okay. Actually, did it work now? Yes, they're okay. So there's my, there's how it works. And so I could change these again, 2 and 1, and of course it's still not working. So I could come back here and I could say, well, let's run this again. And then I could look at it, and there it's a different thing. Okay. Now, so that's how we're going to basically make our programs. We're going to have a function. We're going to set up our sheet variable, and then we can get ranges on that sheet, and then we can set ranges. We can get range and we can get values from them, or we could get range and we could set values back to them. So we don't want to, though, have the user come into this script part here and run it up here like this. So we need a better way. We need a way to run it from this user interface here. And there's a cool thing you can do. You can make a button or an image or anything on here and trigger the function right here from the user interface. So I could, let's see, I could insert, there's a lot of different ways you could do it. I could actually use this image right here. So go ahead and click on this cylinder, and you'll see these 3 little dots. Okay, check this out. I can click on that, and I can assign a script to it. And oh, this is the hard part. You have to remember exactly what the name of your script was. So you have to, I think I just did cylinder, right? Cylinder, I think that's all it was called. I'll click OK, and we'll see if it works. So I can now watch the magic here. I can put in like height of 3, radius of 1, and I can click on the cylinder and look at it. It ran the script. Very cool. Okay, so I can actually make this a button to run the script. Now, that's not very obvious that you have to do that, so you might want to do something better like insert. I could do a drawing. Let's see. I could shapes. Okay, that looks like a button. I'll click that. Ooh, look at that. Let's see. Let's put some text in there. Calculate. How do I make that a lot? Let's see. Where's my fonts? Okay, there's some. Make it smaller. Whoop. I can grab onto that. Let's see. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, you can make something really cool, I guess. I didn't. So now I actually made a drawing, and I can move that in here. And I could also do it there. So I could click on this and assign script, cylinder, okay. And I could do hit my button, calculate, and it does it. So you can make a button there like that too. I really don't like it that look. Oh, I keep on clicking it. Let's see, double click it real fast. Oh wait. Let's see. Right click on it or hit with two things. I'm just gonna delete that. I do not like that. Let's see. Delete. Okay. Here's another way to do it. There you can go search online for online button makers. I have one here called what's this called? thebuttonfactory.com. thebuttonfactory.com. And there's a whole bunch of other ones. This might not be the best one. I don't know. It's like the first one that came up in a search. So, and you can make buttons. So I could say, calculate, font, Open Sans. I don't know. Let's make it smaller. Okay. Text shadow. I can do size, fit the text, style, rounded, rectangle, fully curved sides. Ooh, I like that. Simple gradient, bicolored. What's that do? That looks, yeah, I like that. You can swap them around. Border, shadow. Let's do a shadow. Can I do a shadow? Oh yeah, okay, maybe make it a little softer under there or something. Okay, so maybe a gray. Shadow on the button. Orientation, south. Ooh, let's do south, east. Yeah. Make it a little smaller. I don't know. There's a lot of things you can just mess around with here, so whatever. Anyway, I'll click, once I have the button I like, I'll just click download, which I have go to this folder here. So there's a button calculate.png, and I'll come back here and I'll do insert, image, put that in there. You can get a lot better button with these things than you can. Yeah, that's not bad. And put it like that. And then I could come here, I could click on the button, the three little buttons there, and assign script, cylinder, okay. And so now I have this program where I can change different things, and I could click the calculate button and it'll calculate the volume. Okay, so that's kind of how we're going to be making most of our programs. I have a couple more videos to show you on how to do some of these things, and we'll practice one here in a little bit. But basically, you're going to set up a sheet variable, and you're going to get your variables that you want to do the math on by getting the ranges on the sheet. And then you can do all your math and everything, and then you can send it back to the sheet by getting the range and setting the value of whatever you just calculated. And then, of course, if you put some kind of cool button on here, you can then enter the things on here, and it won't calculate it automatically like it was doing when I had the function in here. It'll just let you put all your information in, and then do, in one button click, run the whole program, and it'll give you your output. And that's pretty nice. So I hope you understand that. All right, in this JEDI task, you were challenged to make a visual representation of like a die that you could roll. So we're going to have a button that if you click it, it changes the die to a 1 through a 6, but it needs to be a visual representation of that somehow on your spreadsheet. So we got a blank slate here in our script. We're going to figure out how we're going to program that, but first let's just go ahead and work on our output. So generally we start in the spreadsheet and we do some easy stuff where we just kind of figure out what our output page is going to kind of look like. So I want to try to make a die, a die is, really you could think of it as like 9 boxes. So you have a dot on a die. You could have 3 dots on the left, 3 dots down the middle, 3 dots down the right, and depending on how many dots you fill in those 9 boxes, you can set up a die. So if I do 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, I could highlight those and I could put a border around all of that. Now that doesn't look great like a die, so let's see, can I change I don't know how to do that for sure, but actually no, let's do this. Let's highlight all 3 of these, and then I can drag this in to make the columns all the same. That's closer. And then 1, 2, 3. Whoop, don't want that. Nope, too much. Whoop. Okay, so maybe let's put a little 0 that's a dot in each one of these. To be our die. And that doesn't look very good, so we're going to highlight all those. We need to center them. Let's see, where's our, down here? Yeah, okay, so here's down at the bottom. We want that to be in the middle. That's good, and we want this to be in the middle. Okay, so now that could be a die, and we could just print in whichever, if we need a 3, we just have these. If we need a 5, we'd have 1, 2, 1 in the middle, and those out there. Okay, so that looks okay. We just need to be able to make a button that says roll, and then it'll change that on our function. So let's go ahead and make a button. Go back to the button factory. Roll. Loading. Taking a long time. There we go. Let's make the text a little bigger. Let's go top color. Get crazy. Ooh. Bottom color. Simple gradient between those. It's not much of a. It's better. Okay. No, good enough. You can mess around with it and make it better. That's not the point, I guess, what I'm doing right now. Okay, so I'll come out here and insert an image. Put my button on there. Okay, and remember we're going to be using that button to be able to assign a script to it. And there it is. It takes a little while for it to pop up sometimes, so I click on it. So yeah, we'll just put it right underneath there like this. Okay, I don't have a script to assign to it yet, so we'll have to go ahead and do that. So I can also go ahead and delete all those things out. You know what? Let's change the font on those. Yeah, let's little bit better. Okay, we'll delete them now. All right. Okay, time to program. So we're going to go to our script editor, and we're going to make a function. What do you want to call it? Dice roller, I guess. Okay, all right, so we have a function here. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to basically roll a dice. So we want to roll a dice. We want to get a random number from 1 to 6 is really what we want to do. And if you remember, we've done this before, so you can go back and look at your program if you want. But we're going to set up a variable. I'll call it roll die as the variable. Equals, and remember we're going to have to get a random. So math random. And remember, random gives from 0 to 1, so we want to do times 6, so we get from 0 to 6. And then I guess we want to floor that. So math dot floor. Okay, so let's see. I think we would also. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, my variable isn't highlighting, and that's because when you do a function, you have to do the parentheses for the parameters that you might be passing in. Although we're not passing in any this time. So yeah, don't forget your parentheses like I did after your function. So now I have a variable, and it's going to be math random, which gives me 0 to 1. I can take it times 6, so it'll be 0 up to 6, and we're going to floor that. Actually, I need to do that plus 1. So technically, I need to do, so instead of being 0 up to, basically be 0 to 5, it'll be 1 up to 6. So I need that plus 1 in there also. Okay, so there is a variable for a dice roller, and that's, so I can do that, and then I can just check to see what it is, and then change my output the way, however it is. So I'm going to start doing some if statements. I'm going to do if roll die equals, remember, equals 1. Then what am I going to do? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an array or a list of little zeros to go of 9 sections. So I have 9 boxes here, and I'm going to do down. I'm going to do down, and then down, and then down. So I'm going to do B3, B4, B5, and these 3, and then these 3. I'm going to make a list of 9 items. It's either going to be a blank or it's going to be a circle, depending on what it is. So like for if the dice is going to be a 1, all I need to do is put blanks in every box except for in C4, right in here, I'm going to put a 0. So I'm going to make just an array every time. So if roll die equals 1, I'm going to do var, actually let's do that. Let's set it up here. Var roll array equals an empty array right now. So let's do so now I can just do roll array equals, and I'm going to set up 9 of these things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that's what I want every time. It's a roll array, and all I have to do is come in. So there's the first 3. Here's the next 3. So right in there, I need that to be a 0. But instead of doing that, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to do else if. Actually, I won't even do that. I'll just grab that, and I'll just grab this whole thing, and I'll go here and I'll copy. So else if roll die equals 2, we're going to get a different roll array. Else if 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so roll if roll 2, if it equals 3, if it equals 4, if it equals 5, if it equals 6, else if this equals 6, do this, and then I won't need an else. Okay, so now all I gotta do is figure out my arrays. So if it's 1, it's gonna have a 0 in this spot. If it's a 2, it's gonna have 1. Let's see, we'll do bottom left, and then there's the middle, top right would be there. 3 would be bottom left, middle, and top right. A 4 would be top left, bottom left, top right, bottom right. A 5 would be the same thing as a 4, except for there'd be 1 in the middle, so it'd basically be every other one. And a 6 we'll have in the first 3 and the last 3. Okay, so I've whatever the roll is, I'm making an array that has these things, and I can populate each 9 cells with those things when I do that. Okay. Let's see, what else do I need to do? Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to down here I need to put them in there. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to set up my spreadsheet app and things. So I'm going to do sheet var sheet equals spreadsheet app dot get active spreadsheet dot get active sheet. We won't do it by name, we'll just do it, get the active sheet. Okay, so there's a variable for my sheet. Okay, so now I can do, I don't actually need to get anything from the spreadsheet, do I? I don't need to get any values. I just need to set values. So I'm going to do sheet dot get range, and I'm going to need to get each range. So let's see, what were they? They were on B3 down to D5 basically. So I could, yeah, so I'm going to do get range B3 dot set value. Okay, so what do I want to put in B3? Well, so I'm going to have a roll array, and it's going to be a list of 9 things. And so I want to just call out, B3 would be the first item in that list. So I can just do roll array with a square bracket and then a 0 and then a square bracket. Okay, and so that should set the value to B3 of whatever the first item is in the roll array list. So it's going to either put a 0 in, or it's going to put a 0 in if it's a 4, a 5, or a 6, but it's going to put a blank in if it's a 1, 2, or a 3. Okay, so really I need that. I need that like 9 times. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I can do B4, B5, C3, C4, C5, D3, D4, D5, and so set value row, this is going to be item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and item 8. Just nine items technically, 0 to 8. Okay, and that should set the value to the thing, to that particular range. Anything else? Do I got it all? I think that should work. All right. We'll save it. Oh yeah, we need to come here and we need to click on this and okay, what was the name of my dice underscore roller? So I'm going to come here and I'm going to do assign a script dice underscore roller. Okay. And I should click roll. Hey, look at that. It must have been a 3. I hope. Roll it again. A 1. Roll again. 1 again, I guess. A 3. Let's get something else. Ooh, a 6. A 1. A 6. A 5. Okay, so it looks like it's working. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. I want to show you something else. Okay, so that's good enough for that. But there's not a real purpose of doing this part, but I just want to show you that you can do this because it might come in handy some other times when you're thinking about functions. You know, you can call another function within a function. So let's say I want to take this whole section. I'll copy that, and I'm going to delete that out. And I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to do another function called roll it. And I'm going to paste that stuff in there where I actually kind of assign it or something like that. Okay. So what I can do, so here's a function that I want to maybe call, and so I can, instead of, I took that out of down here, right here. So right here, what I can do is I can call this function, roll it. I could do roll it, and then pass into it roll array. So the roll array variable is what I'm going to pass into the roll it function, and then I could come up here and say roll array. Okay, so what I'm showing you here is that there's no real point of doing this right here, what I'm doing, because this is like one piece of code, really, and I didn't shorten the code up at all by doing this. This piece of code could have been right in here. But what could happen if I had to use this code like in a lot of different places in this, I could take it out, put it into its own function, and then wherever I needed to run this particular code, I could call that new function that I made, call that new function, pass in the argument to this particular parameter, and then it would and technically what I need to do here is I need to, I guess I wouldn't have to even return anything, but I could actually do return, I could do return something, and that would actually take that and return it back down to this spot in the program. I don't have to return anything here because this function is actually doing stuff right away. It's putting stuff in the sheet, but I'll save that and just make sure that worked. But yeah, so it still works. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know if that helped you or not. this is pretty valuable to do, but I mean, in this particular example, it was kind of worthless because I actually probably added even more text in here. But if this is something that's part of your program and you're going to use it in a lot of different places, then you can call a function within a function. So when I run this function here, dice roller, it's going to do all this stuff, and then it's going to actually run another function. And so it's going to do this code also within this code. And you can pass parameters to it and things like that. So that might come in value a little bit later, possibly. So we'll see on that. Okay, I paused it for just a little bit, and now it probably looks a little bit different. So I deleted the function up at the top, and I went ahead and put it back in down here at the bottom. Because I thought I'd maybe show you one more thing here. We're always interested in shortening up the code as much as possible. So there's a lot of lines here, and it's kind of redundant. You're doing basically the same thing from 0 to 8. The only thing is you're doing different cells here. So I was wondering if there a way I can do this with a little bit less code, and I think there is. I could set up another array, like I could do cell array equals, and I'll grab one of these here, and I'll do B3, B4, B5, C3, C4, C5, D3, D4, D5. So there's a array of cells things. So then I could do get this sheet. I could still get the sheet. But then what I could do is I could put this in kind of a loop. So I'll do a for loop. I'll do for, set up a variable I equaling 0. And then we're going to do for I less than 9. So 0 up through 8, which would be 9 places. And then increment I by 1 each time. And we can make a for loop there. And all I have to do then is take one of these lines and put it in here. I can get rid of all the rest of them. And then in this part, I will do cell array item I. So the first time it goes through, it's going to put into it's going to get B3 to put into here, and it's going to get roll die of 0. We want that to be I actually also. So it's going to get the first item in the roll array and put it in B3. And then next time through, it'll take the second item in roll array and it'll put it into B4. And that should work, and that's a little less code, so it looks better, and as long as it works, we better test it real quick. Running script. Oh, didn't work. Undefined. Undefined. Okay, so I gotta figure out what happened here. Let's see. Sheet.getRange cell array I. Okay, there it is. Right there. Somehow I got that switched back. So it's roll die was the roll array is what we want. We want roll array. So it'd be item 0 in the roll array. There we go. Would put into the cell array. Would put into B3. That should work. So we'll test that out. Running script. Good. There we go. It's working. Okay, so that was just a way to shorten it up a little bit more. So there's lots of ways to do these programs. So if you came up with some other idea, that's good too. And if you did it in less code than this, then it's even better. So I'll be interested to check out your code, see if you came up with a better solution.